What's up YouTube? Single track for the win here. Now I'm going to talk about steel bikes. Should you buy one? I'm not a diehard steel fan, but recently after picking up this very cheap bike, I've seen steel in a new light that I never saw before. No matter what your discipline, no matter what kind of bike you ride, odds are there is a steel variant of that frame, whether it's road, cross-country mountain bike, cyclocross bike. There's a lot of different bikes out there. So should you buy steel, yes or no? I've got a few reasons that I think steel will prove it's quite a great frame, anything made out of steel. First of all, it's generally affordable. Yeah, you can go buy a Stinner steel road bike frame set or cyclocross frame set and spend a lot of money, or you can buy a cheap steel framed bike, but generally steel is quite affordable. And when you look at the quality that you can get out of an affordable steel frame, I'm not saying that there aren't cheap steel frames out there, but generally speaking, a good steel frame is a very smooth and quiet frame to ride. I say quiet, some people don't realize that carbon can sometimes be noisy. It can creak and crack. I don't mean like actually crack. Of course it can actually crack, but carbon can be noisy at times. Steel, on the other hand, can be very buttery smooth and quiet. And it's inexpensive. Yes, it's heavy, but if you're looking at a training bike or even a racing bike, steel can be a great option for those reasons. And training on a steel bike can make you stronger. How does it make you stronger? Steel bikes aren't necessarily light, feathery, and snappy. So if you train on a steel bike, then you hop on your carbon road bike, even if you're putting down the same times or marginally faster than you were, you might feel a lot better riding the carbon bike because you're now comparing it to the steel bike. Hopefully that doesn't confuse you into thinking, well, you just said carbon is better than steel. I'm not here to say one is better than the other or that you should buy a steel bike instead of a carbon bike. I have a carbon road bike and a carbon mountain bike. Both of those cost a lot of money. Yeah, they're really nice, they're lightweight. They are also smooth in their own ways. But had I known how good steel was after getting this bike not too long ago, I might have opted for a steel bike. Another option or another benefit of steel is steel frames generally might have more tire clearance than road bikes, like aluminum or carbon road bikes. These are 40C tires. I've got like 40 pounds of pressure in them. They're tubeless, and I've got plenty of clearance down at the chainstay, plenty of clearance at the seat stay, and the fork has plenty of clearance for a 40C tire. This is a cyclocross frame set, so it has large clearance, but even road frame sets that are steel may have more tire clearance. More tire clearance. Oh, check out that light, bro. Interruption. Sorry. More clearance equals the option to run bigger tires, which also translates to more comfort and a more compliant ride. So all of those things considered, steel bikes can be a great option. They're affordable, they're strong. I don't know of anyone who's broken a steel frame set. I'm sure it's happened, but odds are if you break a steel frame set, maybe there's something else to the picture. Maybe you did something else wrong. I don't know. But I like steel because, in my opinion, when you're riding your bike, you should never be hesitant to do something because you feel you might break the bike. Whether you're on a mountain bike, dropping in or rolling in on a really rugged rock drop, or whether you're on a road bike and you want to jump a curb, if you're hesitant to do that, in my opinion, you're not having as much fun. And on a steel bike, I think it inspires a little bit of confidence. I think you're not really hesitant generally, to just kind of rip it around and skid around and jump curbs and gaps and that kind of thing. And all those things can really make any boring ride a lot more fun. And lastly, my biggest point for steel bikes, this is adding on to that point I just said. I think they kind of channel your inner spirit animal. You know, if you're not tempted to ride on a little bit of dirt on your road ride, or jump a curb on your road ride, or if you're too scared to drop in on your new carbon hardtail while you're riding trails, I don't know, I think a steel frame bike might help inspire you to do those things, and you might have more fun. And you also might hurt yourself, but that's all part of the fun. Should you buy a steel bike? I'll let you decide. Just for reference, I don't even want to say how much money I've spent on my road bike and my my mountain bike, but it was in thousands of dollars. This bike, this frame set, comes as a single speed. It's a Raleigh Furley, and it comes as a single speed. I bought it secondhand from someone who already put gears on it, and then I put a mountain bike cassette on it. So I've got a SRAM 1136 cassette and a SRAM EXO rear derailleur on it. And this bike cost me $750. So when you look at that cost, $750, I bought, my very first mountain bike was a Specialized Hard Rock Sport, and it was like $700. And it's just a cheap entry level aluminum hardtail. It wasn't a very good bike. It did get the job done, and it did not break, but it wasn't a very good bike, and the components were garbage. But for the same price, I've now got this steel bike that I can race cyclocross with. Because of my gear range now, I can tour with it. It's got mountain bike gearing virtually now. I've got a 36 is my easiest gearing, and that's pretty sweet. And that's pretty that's some pretty serious gearing for a cyclocross bike. Most cyclocross bikes out there aren't going to have that. And it's got fender rack mounts. It's got all kinds of cool stuff. It's got here, I took the spokes off because I just wrapped this, but this will hold extra spokes, which is pretty darn cool, especially for touring. And it even has, as my friend Alex pointed out, this little nipple here will hold your chain while you're changing your tire or working on the bike. So it's got a lot of cool features. And yeah, it's a dime. It costs a dime compared to how much other bikes cost out there. So before you go buy a very expensive bike, which very expensive bikes are very nice bikes, but you don't have to have one. And unfortunately, I found that out too late. I really like my other bikes, but as they say, steel is real. Thanks for watching.